So, finally I finished my big secret project nobody will ever see. So after such a long day, let's watch some television. So let's see what there is to watch. Not what I've been looking for. My ears help. Nope. OC getting killed by Amagi. Nothing new. This looks interesting. Let's take a closer look.
Bruh.
Fast as fuck, boy. I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
Well, that was really interesting. I still don't like the ship. Start the video. Hello and welcome back to the worst show on YouTube, the Niklasso's Guide series, this time with one of the best ships ever built, having powerful armament for her time, with good speed and even destroyed the pride of the Royal Navy, the IJN Amagi. Okay, sorry for this bad joke, I just want to bully OC, but yeah, this time we have the KMS Bismarck, a historical ship from the Germans. We all, at least most of us, know the story behind her, and we also know that she sank the HMS Hood. I mean, just look at her. But enough bullying British ships, since in this guide I will focus mainly on bullying Bismarck. So let's quickly recap the history of this ship. The Bismarck was built and commissioned in 1940 during World War II. For her time she had incredible armor and firepower and was really scary for the Allies. So one day the Bismarck and Prince Eugen had a plan to destroy some Allied convoy ships, obviously undetected, but well, it didn't go as planned. And later on we had the battle where Hood sinks and at last Bismarck gets soothed from Ark Royal, and that was the bed story for today, my kids. And after this cool and interesting story about our Bismarck, let's continue on how you can acquire this ship. And just before you hate me for saying this ship guide was a request from my Patreon. So hate on him for doing an event exclusive ship again. He is also the potato that wanted the Graf Zeppelin guide, so go figure. Well, after getting hated again for doing an even ship, let's start talking about the stats and perks. First we have stuff like the firepower, and since this is the pride of the Germans she will surely be good in dealing damage, and surprisingly she is, at least in the stats. She has a whopping amount of 387 points there, being pretty high on the leaderboard with that. So really impressive by that. Next on we have the health pool of her, and also in that stat she surprised me quite a lot, even though she is under the top 5 ships. The only thing that really annoys me is that it has more HP than Bismarck, and this is unacceptable. German engineering is the best in the world, so this is strictly illegal right here. But for that she gets heavy armor, not like this bad battle cruiser Hood. And also worth mentioning is that she has decent evasion, obviously not battle cruiser level, but still good. And lastly but not at least we have the anti-air, and what a surprise, she has a terrible AA stat. I didn't actually surprise me, since we all know what happened in World War II back then to Bismarck, but yeah, she has some anti-air, but don't rely on it. It is even so bad that, even when you maximum limit break her you don't get any efficiency increases. This is how bad it is. Well, about time to start talking about her skills, since she already has quite good stats. Bismarck has a total of 3 perks. The first one is War Heat, which is German and means truth. Who would have expected this? The perk gives you a guaranteed critical hit on the first salvo, and in addition to that you also can an increase in detection and shooting range if you equip a light cruiser gun on the secondary slot. But for that you lose some of the firepower. It has a slight impact on how the suicide boats work, but not a major problem for Bismarck in the end. Bigger problem are the planes. The second perk is Unwavering Strength. When you have Bismarck as a flagship, all the Iron Blood carriers get a damage increase of 20%, and to that, when you fire your barrage you have a 70% chance to fire a special barrage. This skill is kinda lame for me. The first problem would be that German carriers get an increase in damage, but there is one problem. There are almost no German carriers in the game. Not only that there are only 2 of them, giving you 0 variety, but also that these carriers are not good. Like seriously, the only reason to run a German backline with carriers would be either that you are a wereaboo, or that you want to handicap yourself, since your life is going way too easy. Which brings me to my last point, making this fleet completely useless. And lastly we have the Will of the Iron Blood. It increases the crit chance by 20%, and in addition all the reload by 12% for all Iron Blood ships. But let's not forget to treat Truppe, her sister ship, special, and make a damage increase for her 40% instead of 20%. Like said before, complete useless in my fleet. Well, with that we covered her stats and perks. Now the equipment. Just on the run, I will use the historical German equipment, since I don't like the Germans, and also for the memes. But I will also mention the recommended one. For the main battery gun I recommend you to get the twin 406mm gun. It is one of the best choices for the Bismarck. If you don't have it, you can take to slightly worse twin 410 one. But I myself use the real Weasel Bismarck gun, so the twin 380mm one. For the secondary gun you can take the triple 155mm one. Even better would be the triple 152mm prototype one, since it gives you some anti-air, but most importantly is to take the twin 150mm one, since it is German, and all German products are good, but memes aside the first gun is the best. And now the anti-air, since she doesn't have great AA to begin with, and I would rather have a historical accurate AA guns, you will go with the twin 105mm guns, since German AA is obviously superior. Lastly, the auxiliary equipment. I myself would go with the double shells, but you can also take instead of the white shells, and go with a high performance fire control radar. For all the people considering taking the unfulfilled promise, it gives you some evasion, but it is not that great, since it gives you a 35% debuff to the missing ammo instead of 50%. You shouldn't run out of ammo in the first place. So with this, we got everything we need. Bismarck is a nice historical ship, but I really don't like her, since Germans aren't supposed to be good. With that we finish the guide, so don't forget to leave a like and subscribe my potatoes. Until next time, where I will cover the HMS Swifter or not.